there are some movies or movie trailers you watch and then you're just smiling to yourself. When I first saw Wonder Woman trailer, I was smiling to myself. And it stars women I admire. It's made by a woman I admire a lot. So joining me here is the Wonder Woman crew. It's like a politician's conference. So there are too many of you, but
I know.
there are just too many of you. But let's think this is a go show where I ask a question and it's not like one person has to answer. Anyone can jump in and interrupt.
All the best.
Yeah.
All the best.
It's not to be like, hello Anjali, please tell me. So everyone can jump in saying whatever.
Like a wrong proposition.
Yeah.
Are you sure you want that?
Yeah, very much. Okay, so I heard an interview. First question I will give it to Anjali because she made the movie. She thought about it, right? So, I know, but first question. I saw an interview in which you said that this movie is from the head and the heart. What does it mean? Like other movies are.
There are some from the heart, there are some from the head.
And how is this from the head and the heart?
Because it's somewhere connected, and my head and heart will sit in my belly, so that's where it's from.
Okay, so I heard Nitya telling an interviewer that she knew about the story and that.
The second time she broke her.
No. This is not a question for Nitya. This is not a question
asked
for
her
Nitya.
yet.
Okay, you guys are actually bullying me.
Yeah, I warned you. Welcome.
I will strike back. I heard her saying that you all knew, at least some of you knew that this is the story that is going to be, that it's about pregnant women. But even then, when Anjali Menon called you while she's writing the script, or after she wrote the script and said, I wanted you to be a pregnant woman. But were you worried that you may not be able to pull it off?
Of course not. I was very happy that I don't have to tuck my stomach in like while acting.
We were all very happy that we didn't have to tuck our...
Yeah, and they were all stuffing themselves and
Yeah.
enjoying playing the pregnant role.
Eating so much.
So, for me, it was the best part because from being Ranveer Singh's mother to being pregnant, it was going backwards. So I was like, okay, I'm pregnant. Oh, good. I'm coming back.
Is it really fun playing a pregnant woman?
Absolutely fun. Absolutely.
Apart from the Velcro and the...
I loved it. Come on. We all loved it. We
you were the
so
one
you
who
used to
removed the
Velcro.
maximum.
You were the one who There we go. Right.
Okay, once again,
No, I'm just saying we all thought.
I love it. Maximum time of the dressmaker was taken. Should I put my hand up?
Yeah, oh, you did.
No, but who enjoyed the
No, but we all thought we looked better in our clothes with the tummy than without the tummy.
Because it worked like a tummy tucker as well.
Yeah. We were all big in the
Let
middle.
go of this tummy hole that we are trained to do. So much so that Anjali, it is so
Yeah.
late. After that, I kind of forgot.
Like I went back to my Telugu project and I'm like, no, we also took a lot of sympathy. I think a lot of us took a lot of sympathy from the unit. So we would be like sit down, we say, oh my god, it's so hot. It's like our backs are aching. Obviously, none of that is true.
That actually happens during pregnancy, the back pain and the weight. Right?
Yeah.
What's the most quirkiest, horrible, or even nice thing that you discovered about pregnancy? That when I became pregnant, I had very bad leg cramps, and I'm like, dude, I didn't sign up for this. No one told me that I'm going to have leg cramps every day.
The bellies, I think.
I think the position in which we can sit or we can't sit, like because we've not been pregnant, any of us, so we didn't, certain positions were like, do you think we can sit like this? No, I don't. I don't think we can sit like this. Especially Saya. Saya would just be like jumping up and I'm like, Saya, you're pregnant. You can't jump like this. You know, we're dancing and
she's a mother.
Yeah,
she has been actually
and
pregnant.
she's exactly.
Are you always giving them advice, like doling it out free?
No, I actually forgot about my pregnancy, and I really during those days I actually forgot that even I have a child. You know.
Whoa. Yeah, I know, because she was very occupied with other things. She was having a great time.
What did you discover about pregnancy? The quirks, anything that you wanted in your character?
God, everybody's like,
Welcome to Wonder
Women.
Women.
Did to us, you know, always.
I don't know if it was quirky, but I suddenly like recognized that I had a female body. like in a very particular way, which was this is getting a little less quirky. But also, I had just been to a gynecologist a few days back before starting to shoot this, and I had like a weird experience with them just using their fingers wherever they wanted to without my permission. It was a regular test. It's not for checking that I'm pregnant. So, and they left the ultrasound dangling on my. So I was like, this is like ridiculous. I had a very invasive kind of an experience. And when I kind of like spent time doing this movie and like learning more from Anjali and Nadia and a lot of others, like for me it was a lot of learning that there is so much of body rights that we have which we don't even think of, like very basic things.
But the movie does talk about body autonomy, right? A lot of it is about body autonomy. So, Parvati?
No, I mean, for me, I think before I came on board this project also, it's that period in life where most of my friends are partnered and have children and have gone through pregnancy, on the way to parenthood. I have like been very intimately aware of what they're going through, and not just the bodily, their identity with their body there was a dissonance most of my friends felt. As much as they were loving the process and they are overjoyed, most of them, and some of them are going through postpartum depression. For me, it was mostly this lack of control that you feel into your body, the centering that they have to work towards. Some of them they're not here in India. And I feel like when they tell me like there are these classes post-pregnancy for them to sort of get their muscles and strengthened and everything, I keep wondering, is that something that everybody gets to know? Like, is that an education everybody gets? Or
no,
yeah. So like, I mean, no. I had all that in mind before I came into it, but frankly, with Mini performance towards Mini, I did not think about any of the quirks of it or any of that aspect. There was this very unidimensional, not to take away from anything for me in terms of why she was at Sumana, and for me that emotional arc was a lot more consuming. So I think I focused on that.
Anyone wants to add on their experiences learning about pregnancy during the shoot?
See, we've also played pregnant women before.
Yeah, it's not like we were playing but this is the first time I still winged it. We all, I don't know, in the...
All of you been pregnant women before?
I was a real time pregnant.
No, I mean real time.
But at this age when I played it, I felt more vulnerable. I played it when I was younger maybe. At that time, I felt that, okay, well, I can be pregnant. At this age when I played it, because Jaya's psyche, I felt more vulnerable and more scared of what's going to happen. Not only because of the character, because, see, that magic if, what if I was at this age, right? So I am at my age and I'm given this role. So it was more scary for me and more vulnerable, that vulnerability, something is slipping out of my hands and I can't control it. Maybe when age is your side, you can say that, I can do it. I'll be able to do it.
Oh, wow.
But when age starts going like, then you start feeling, is it going to be okay? Am I going to be, like, you're less confident.
So you are the teacher. But did you know about prenatal routines, the classes, the yoga, etc.?
No, actually, funnily, I have experienced it because when we lived abroad and when I had my first child, so there were these prenatal classes, which if you want you can take it, but then I took it just for the fun of it, to understand what it's all about. So I have attended a session where the husbands join. And it's so funny, the women are all, talking about their experiences and what they're going through, and then the husbands join in and they first start talking about work, and then they realize that, they need to talk about their wives and what they're going through. So I have experienced it, and I think it's a very nice way for pregnant women to bond, because they're all kind of sailing in the same boat, but yet have different experiences. So yeah, that is it. And then of course, being a mother, and I think somewhere that nurturing comes in from somewhere. So the way you deal with each and every character, the mother in you kind of comes out a little bit, and there's a gentleness that comes. And
did you feel motherly?
No, I didn't. I was just playing my part.
She never used to come to our room.
No, she would never come to our room. She's like, can I just take my clothes and go?
We had
yoga.
For all of us.
No, but about Nadia,
First, why did you agree to like be in this movie one. I know that they had one room.
What is this like? What is this like?
Doesn't mean you entirely us, I'm telling you.
No, they had one room, right? During the movie shoot to come back. How was that experience?
She was never there in that room.
Yeah.
Excuse me, I've been there.
You just
We didn't even
I've
notice.
been there. There were reasons why I wasn't there more often than you guys were. That's a different.
No, the sofa. Nobody gets the sofa. Like Nitya used to sleep on the sofa. Nobody gets to sit on the sofa. Just half of the sofa.
Can I speak? Can I speak? So I walk into the room, and then there was a sofa and there was a bed, and you see the size of the casting, right? So the bed is occupied, the sofa is occupied, and so there's really no room for anyone else. And then can I tell them about the mess in the room?
I asked the question, right? Why did you agree?
she didn't obviously anticipate that.
And then it's break time, all the preggy bellies will be flying in the air.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, we're done. Yeah,
It was walking into a girl's hostel is how I felt.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, jokes apart, it was lovely working with these crazy bunch of girls. And they might sound funny, but I think they're extremely, extremely talented. They know their craft well. In fact, there was a lot of learning. I got to learn a lot from, how they worked and how they thought, and the kind of conversations we had on the sets was all really, really amazing. I was very, very happy to be a part of this team.
And about Nadia, she knows so many languages, and I didn't expect she knowing Marathi. So when I went and me and Sandesh would talk, like my husband is also my real husband is part of this film. He plays my husband. So we used to talk in between कि Marathi में बात कर लेते हैं, and she talks great Marathi. And I'm like, what? So that also, this bonding, we felt like a mother to her because she was speaking our language, all of our language, not only mine, everybody's language.
Tell about your Kanji story,
No, you tell. No, she should tell.
So I think anyway, I mean I've told the story to our team before, but I'll tell it once again. So I realized that they're not really very familiar with Kerala. They've been here, I think they've visited or something, but not really. So you get this carrier, right, with your dinner at night. So everybody gets one, just outside their room. So they got theirs. So just I was being polite the next day in the morning, and I said so we started conversing only in Marathi then. So then I literally asked her, I said, how was your dinner last night? Avadla ka? And all those kind of things. She said, yeah, the food was nice. But I really felt there was too much water in the
It's actually like national food or something.
I ate it. So accommodating. She ate it, she literally see the water.
Anjali Menon brought you to Kerala and gave you kanji.
That's the title I think now of this interview will be like, she suffered kanji. But this is the thing for years and years, ever since I started acting, 17 years now, the carrier at night that we get is the same. It's that Purniya
Kanji. But I loved it.
And we look forward to it. Because it's like this number national food item.
So that was a funny story. Literally cultural experiences happening there,
Was making them bond very important for the movie also?
Maybe not now. Hindsight.
Maybe she regretted about
Not
it.
like
Putting you in one room.
Okay, I think Anjali wants to speak.
I want to know the answer. The whole idea was that they need to get a little familiar with each other. But I think half an hour into the first time they met, I figured that, oh my God, this is going completely out of control. And then I didn't have anything to do with it.
But because you'd already sorted that one room.
No, they were
But
times.
that was just a costume room which they invaded and made their own.
No. What? No,
They didn't do that?
Yeah.
That was told.
That was the only room which was given to us. Hello,
No, there was a room upstairs, guys.
There we didn't go at all.
Yeah, they didn't care about it.
Wow. You tell us now. That's where you
No, I wasn't there either.
Second headline, Wonder Woman crew discovered the second room.
Okay.
Just I have to say this, before they came in, Nitya Menon in particular had a lot of requests. Okay, I need it like this, I need this car, I need that, I need this. So I listened to everything and I said, okay, we'll try and do what we can. The next time I called her for the second schedule, she was like, okay, I'm coming only if it's one room for everybody and one bathroom for to share.
Yeah, so that she can bully around everybody.
She terrorizes us. Whenever we go to the bathroom, she's like, who opened the door and kept? Please go and close it. Every time anybody goes.
No, there are many more instructions.
I'm like, just close
She's
the
really
bathroom.
fussy about the bathroom.
Wow, you guys are disgusting.
Now you know where I'm coming from.
Okay, I may ask a serious question now.
Oh.
Okay, serious.
I saw many interviews. This is the first time I'm actually interviewing a movie crew, but I saw many interviews and everyone asked, what is the best about working with Anjali Menon? What is the best and worst about working with Anjali Menon?
Oh no.
Who starts? Not me.
Who starts?
Not me.
Okay, Parvati or Nitya.
Archana has not spoken a word.
Yeah.
Archana, she starts. Correct.
Worst.
Best also.
What a person!
We
What a person to ask, because she's worked as cast and crew with me.
Oh.
Yeah.
Not in the film, in the same film. So I worked with her as AD. So there it's like,
Okay.
yeah,
She is hesitating.
no hesitation. It's like, it's like 24 hours work.
Long hours.
You're there, long hours, and you break. I have never used my brain like that before. So
That's
it's like,
the best part or the worst part?
I'm just a generalized statement. You can take it the way you want.
Right?
So yeah,
They're very
that
scared of you, I feel. Everyone's thinking, what's the worst thing to say? What's the worst thing to say? I can see their minds working now.
I'm not even thinking.
And the best part is that you enjoy. I mean, it doesn't feel like you're working. You are in the process. You're enjoying. You're making fun. You just have to be vulnerable, and you have to be there. Then she will just take you through the journey.
That's if you're an actor.
Yeah, as an actor, not as AD.
I think we'll start with the worst, so then it ends on a good note.
Good call.
I think the worst about is that you're going to I don't know if it's there's certain traits which are positive or negative. This one will fall there. So I think the worst about her is that you don't know what to expect, in spite of the fact that you know what to expect. I don't know how to say this. It's like there's this constant thing like, oh my god, she's going to throw some bomb, and you don't know what it is. And so after a point you get used to that. But there's this constant, and that's what makes you, like when she said the way you use your brain, it's about like this 24 hours literally waiting for the unexpected to happen, and then it keeps happening. It also is like keeps happening. So then you're constantly innovate. So it's somewhere in between, but it can get a little tedious. Okay, the great part of her, and I've now I think had the privilege of knowing her for the last more than a decade now, in varied spaces and in varied levels of intimacy. And the great thing about her is there's a certain constancy about her. And that constancy is about a certain a reliability, a certain empathy, which is very particular to Anjali. And she's very observant and very truly observant, in the sense that she'll hear you, listen you, share very objectively but very empathetically whatever she wants to share, whether at the professional workspace or at a personal level. Sometimes she can get very possessive and not allow you to take risks, not when you're acting in her film, but those are the things which, that sense of constancy is that sense of anchoring that you have with her is very particular.
Wow.
I think you should stick to the worst parts. It'll be much quicker.
You have worked with so many directors, so many years.
For me, I think I'll start. Well, it's not even.
Okay, you don't have to say best and worst. It's fine.
Fine,
I take
yeah.
back the question.
What is this nonsense? You can't have.
But I'm not
You
taking
can't
back-
keep changing the rules of the game.
No. I was keeping on
There are
searching for the
exceptions.
worst thing. I can get it.
There are
Always Nandita ma'am gets it.
Yes, not for you guys. Yes.
No, I think
You have to say bad thing.
The newest finding with Anjali was, when I've said this before, is she has a script and she has a path that she kind of follows, and it kind of changes when she has her actors on board. And then as Priya said, she's very, very observant, and so she's literally seeing your body language, your movements, and then she's tweaking as she goes along. That's one part of the game. But the other thing is, she doesn't really have like set lines that one has to speak. And believe me, we was doing this in English and Hindi, and, you know. And then she's like, oh, well, basically, this is what it is. And you just say it, you know, just say it. Just keep this in mind and say it. I said, Bapre, I've never worked like this before where, you know, I just have to say my lines. And believe me, I was struggling even with English at that point because I don't know whether I was framing it right, whether, you know, the gist of the content is coming through. But, you know, then when she knows an actor is struggling at some point, then she just comes and she says, don't worry, I'm there. I'm there. I'll stop you. If I feel it's not going down the way I want it to, I'll stop you. So she gives you that confidence, even though she'll put you in deep end and she'll give you the confidence
I'm telling
that I'm
they're
there.
sandwiching this entire thing. They're really sandwiching this entire thing.
No, but myself and Nitya, no, but seriously, myself and Nitya would be like, every time there would be a shot and there are so many intercuts. Nadia saying totally different lines, and we're like, how is she going to edit this? Like,
so I felt before coming for the interview that when I normally watch interviews of male directors, everyone's asking, what do you think? What do you think of this guy? And people are just praising and praising.
Yeah,
Right, so
right.
15 minutes of this interview, we should just be talking about Anjali Mehta.
We should also ask the new people into just even acting. The fact that Saya is doing it for the first time with Anjali.
But Saya already said I have only best things to say.
Yeah, of course. This is the first experience. Like,
Danya, you're like being very mean, huh? You can't have different rules every time, seriously.
Padmapriya is really upset. Stick to best and worst. No, just best.
how can I make something and say about someone?
You don't have to say.
Yeah.
You can make it up, it's okay.
Tell the best
You can lie.
Tell the best thing then.
I love the energy when she comes on the set. When she's there, everybody like vigilant and, you know, looking at her and very attentive. And then Anjali, she's like this, you know, she never says that she's the boss, but we know that she's the boss. That kind of a vibe is there when she, you know, comes around. The boss lady. When she comes, they'll be like, will be laughing and everything, but there is that, you know, unseen layer of that.
Power.
That thing is there for Anjali.
Okay, best thing would be that I get to play characters that I'm so comfortable in, because I feel like she writes for me. She sees who I am, and then that shapes what the character is that she gives me. So I feel it, and I feel very comfortable in it, and I love how the character, even to the degree of what the character is wearing, or what the character, you know, things like that. The worst thing would be long hours, very early mornings. I never go at 5:30 in the morning anywhere. But on Anjali's set, I have to be there at 5:45. Thankfully, we used to all travel together. We used to, like, Sai and me used to take the car always, and I used to drive a car. So it was fun early in the morning, but like still, yeah.
You do wake up early.
She does wake up early and make.
I get calls at 7 and I'm like, at 9 I message saying, I understood only 70% of what you said. Can you repeat it again? Parvati, yes, you?
I think since working with Anjali in the collective as well, I think I'm very used to the early hours. Like by 6:30 there will be a proper email response that came back. I'm like, that's the time I like
with the
stay
grammar
away.
correct.
With the correct grammar and proper tone, and everything will be like.
So you have imbibed many of the
high standards for me. Like suddenly I'm like, okay, I got to respond to this properly now. No, but that's not. But I'm used to that, the early hours. But I would say this is more on a personal note. As a friend, also, I'm like, she just cannot take a compliment. Like, she will not let it happen. She'll immediately, like, do something and say, oh, but that's because they are like this. I was like, I just want her to listen to, like, 10. We should just sit her down, tie her up, and just say, you are gorgeous, you're amazing, you're hot,
You're not cutting this. You're not cutting this.
Exactly. And
I think the best part of her, she's hot, like physically.
She is hot.
Everyone agree that
it's the best kind
she
of
is hot, bro.
It's the best kind of roast. It's the best kind of roast.
Okay, now I will put you on the hot seat now. I heard an interview in which Parvati said, I will do anything that Anjali Mehta asks me. It's not just about movies. Do you want to do something now?
Which is you?
You said that. You did say that. I heard you saying.
You made a statement.
Yes.
I did actually.
ഞാൻ എന്തും ചെയ്യും സിനിമ മാത്രമല്ല.
Cinema, I will give. I would request Anjali to go back to her email chain to find my very first mail to her ever. This is 4 years before Bangalore Days, so like eons ago, another era, where I wrote like, I would love to work with you in any capacity, including like want to bring you coffee. I'll do that. Like to work with you. So,
Do you remember that email?
Yes, I do.
And then, can I just say it?
Because he stalked me.
She got her ways to stalk her. Supposedly,
I followed everything she asked me to do, including opening a LinkedIn profile. Like, who asks an actor to open a LinkedIn profile?
You made her
opens a LinkedIn profile.
I did. I was like,
sorry, I'm confused. Who has a LinkedIn profile? You have or she has?
She has.
You made her open it for you.
Yeah, to be in touch with us.
I said,
First I had Tinder. I'm so blank out. First I had Tinder. I'm like, why does somebody have a Tinder profile?
Oh no.
so I asked her to communicate through LinkedIn because I didn't want to engage with some random
I'd
person
never
calling
heard
me
of
up
it.
for a role.
Come on, Bhavya, was not a random.
No, at that time I didn't know. That's right. And then she goes and announces this on the internet. Before you know it, I have tons of people writing to me saying, "This is how Parvati got her role. Can I please do the same?"
Now you have to give a task because I don't know my last few questions.
Whatever I say you will do is apparently the claim.
Yes. On TV.
Same thing.
I can see the brain working, Anjali.
Many people which they haven't done on screen also and off screen. Like, I have never sent my photos to any director but you. I realized that. I look like this now. Please cast me. No one else, you remember? And I'm like, no, not a single director I've done this for. And I'm like, I look like this. Please cast me. So yeah, that's your power.
Sweet.
That is your power.
That's so easy.
Again, go
Please
back
take
to
the
task.
compliment,
I'm forgetting
Anjali.
it.
Yeah, I request you to not force that because I might just fail.
Please,
You
please,
were mean to her. No, she
Tell her.
said she'll strike back. So what is it? What is it? Something that she wants me to ask you to do.
You're asking.
So what girls? What
No,
should
you
she
can
do?
ask
Yeah,
her.
you can all suggest. What
She
you
can
want.
do all the Excel sheet thing and all.
No, right now.
Right?
That she does any real
Oh,
job.
right now you want a task. Let me think.
Because she can sing.
How excited Saya is.
Yeah, I like that idea.
So
Let
sing
us
us a
sing.
song. Sing us from Bangalore Days.
Yeah.
You say that and sing, no?
Good. Originally beautifully sung by Nazria and to be botched up by Parvati.
എന്റെ കണ്ണിൽ നിനക്കായൊരുക്കിയ സ്വപ്നങ്ങൾ കാണേണ്ട നീ കണ്ണു നൽകേണ്ട നീ ആരാണ് നീ എനിക്കെല്ലാരോടും ചൊല്ലേണ്ട നീ കഥ പറയേണ്ട നീ തമ്മിൽ തമ്മിൽ മൂളും പാട്ട് കേൾക്കേണ്ട നീ കൂടെ പാടേണ്ട നീ കൂടെ ആടേണ്ട നീ ചുമ്മാ ചുമ്മാതൻ പിറകെ നടക്കാൻ അനുവാദം മൂളേണ്ട നീ തിരികെ നോക്കേണ്ട നീ
I don't know the rest.
So I'm going to end the interview asking all of you.
Oh, you know,
Again,
we are not finished yet with you.
But you see, we have timings. We have to stick to the
Sadly.
time.
I thought you were like an internet news channel. You can go on and on and on.
Yes, but you guys don't have the time. I have loads of time. Okay, so final question to all of you because we have to wrap up. What did Wonder Women mean to each of you? Making it, being a part of it, and what do you think it will mean for the audiences? Archana?
So I feel so grateful to be Gracie. I was telling all of them that Anjali Menon found the warmth and love that Gracie has in me, and she casted me for the role.
Somehow.
Yeah, somehow.
Are you being Gracie now while you talk?
Exactly. Whenever she talks about Gracie, like that.
She never speaks like that. Generally,
God,
she's
it took months for her to leave Vedi.
So it's basically when these people are around, because of the routine and the habit that I have, I tend to be Gracie. So basically, this film for me is it's a celebration. I used to say like it's the on-screen expression of my off-screen friendships, love, and camaraderie. Yeah.
For me, I think motherhood is not only giving birth, and that I learned from like here, because I kept saying in my interviews also that for me every new role I do, I feel like a child and the director is my mother, and Anjali has been that kind of mother who has loved all her children equally.
Mother Anjali.
No, seriously, because it's a very rare feeling where there is an ensemble cast and everyone feels that she loves me and she's looking at me and so that kind of feeling, that love and warmth is what I take away from her. And not knowing Malayalam, I never thought that I'll work with her, but life is great that it could happen, so I'm grateful. And that love and that warmth is what I'm taking away, and I hope this film spreads that.
I'd say what Anjali has dedicated the movie, in her words, it's to sisterhood that upholds us. For me, again, it goes with what Archana also said. I didn't realize there will be so much of me that unravels so beautifully through this experience, and I feel like it's getting more and more personal as we are closing the release and people are going to watch it. It's going to be a source that continues giving.
It's like a celebration of life for us both off screen, as actors, as humans. There's a certain soul connect here, but for people who watch it, it's genuinely a celebration of life, because pregnancy also brings in a lot of hope and brings in a lot of happiness, newness, and brings in varied other things. And I think it's a celebration of all that life has, both its givings and misgivings.
It talks about bond, a life that comes into everybody's lives in the family, and it's a journey. And through that journey, you're not just talking about motherhood, you're talking about different relationships that one makes during this journey. And even we have a very beautiful scene with their respective partners and husbands who join them for one of the session. And I think it's a very emotional yet a very sweet scene, as in it can touch note with anyone who has been through that or is going through that, and can connect on several levels. So I think it touches hearts on several layers of emotions. And I think she's captured that really well through a very basic and a very important tool like pregnancy. She covers a lot of other aspects of human emotions.
For me, I think Wonder Woman brought a certain refreshing lightness to my life at that moment, because it was so refreshing for me to get out of that kind of, the usual way in which films worked, and it used to bore the hell out of me. And I was suddenly reminded of shoots we used to do really early on in our career, where there were no caravans, no vanity vans. Everybody used to bond a lot more. We used to all spend time together, eat together. It suddenly reminded me of that. And when life keeps going a certain way and it's always the same thing, you go in the morning, the routine. For me, the shoot of Wonder Woman broke that routine in so many ways, and it was refreshing. Nora's character brought such light. It reminded me that, this is you. You are like this. Like otherwise, everything that you do is so intense and so, so serious and all that. And there was a lightness. I loved it. I loved everything about Nora. I liked everything about the shoot. I loved the girls. It was the first time I was interacting with a big bunch of girls, and I discovered how selfless they were and how embracing they all were. That was a learning for me. I also got one other very important thing, but I think we'll keep that for another time. When we come back to this interview, everybody's like, oh.
What was that? Well, I hope we'll come back to the interview. Wonder Woman 2, maybe 2, 3, 4.
How many do you want us to birth?
Thank you very much, everyone. So you all saw the energy, the friendship, As they all said, it's a celebration of life, of the actors. So do watch Wonder Woman. It's going to stream on Sony Live from November 18th. This is Dhanya Rajendran for the News Minute.